everyone. So in this video, I'm going to just show you a few very basic things to get started if you're making a new website on Google Sites. The first thing you'll need to do is to log into your Google account that would be linked to whatever it is you're making the site for. If you're a teacher, you're making the site through your work email address. If you have your own business, you would make your own site through your business email address. Your email address has to be a Google email address, of course, so at gmail.com. And if you don't have one, you could obviously sign up for one for free. After you're logged in, what you're going to do is you can go to sites.google.com. If you wanted to find a puppy from Google, you would go to puppy.google.com if that were a thing. So whatever it is you're going to, that is the word you put in front of .google.com. You always want to be careful if you have multiple Google accounts, because sometimes when you have one as your main account, when you go to change what site you're at, it'll automatically log you out or into a different account. So always pay attention to what's going on in the top right corner. Once you're sure that you're in the correct email, you're at the page sites.google.com, you have a couple options. You could use a template, which is probably a good idea for somebody who thinks that they're very clueless, but it might not be a good idea because it might overwhelm you because there's just so many things. So you have to feel yourself out and know what you want to do. From here, just to show you the template gallery, what it looks like, class, club, student portfolio, and so on. Okay, I'm not going to use the template gallery. Instead, I'm just going to start with a blank clean slate. So all I'm going to show you in this video, they're all going to be a bunch of short little videos, and you can kind of break them up and watch what it is you need to watch. You can go through video by video or just pick out the ones that you need. I'm going to name the page, and I'm going to show you how to put in buttons and how to customize and make your own buttons so you can make your page look a little bit nicer. From here, I'm going to name the site Miss Teachers Classes. Beautiful. Okay. Miss Teachers Classes, very creative. You can change the font a little bit, so I'm going to start with that. If we click on themes, I just like a clean, sort of narrow font. You kind of see like the style, and then you go over here, and there's a little bit of a drop-down menu. So something like that's kind of nice. Ooh, maybe this one better. I like all capital letters. I suppose this will do, although it's not my favorite, but I will show you how you can create your own transparent images to kind of pull into here and make it whatever font you want. I don't like it when it carries into the next line too much, so I'm just going to do that. And let's even, beautiful. Now I have the title of my page over here. I also have the title of the site right over here. I'm just going to show you how to put in a button that will either link to another page that you'll make in Google Sites, or will bring you to another page like a website. So what if you wanted to send your students or customers or whatever this is for to YouTube? You have a YouTube account, or to your Etsy store, or whatever it is that you're doing. What you can do is go to Insert, and we are going to insert a button. Now I know YouTube is here, and that's if you want to put a video onto the page, but I want to put a button to go to the YouTube channel. So you click on button, and we're going to call it just YouTube. And the link I'll get from my actual link right over here. So I'm going to copy that and come back over here and paste the link. If you do it this way, it's going to automatically just make you a button, and it will go with whatever theme it is that you have chosen. So if I go back over here to the themes, we see I have this impression theme with red. If I change it to yellow, green, blue, or gray, whatever that color is, and so on. You could even go into this little paint bucket, and you could either type in the code, or you could just sort of drag and click, do whatever you want, right? And create the color of your liking, okay? But what if you want the YouTube button to be the YouTube logo? This way, it really catches their eye and they know what they're looking for. How can you do that? So we have a couple options. You could just Google search YouTube logo and kind of go this way. Transparent background just means that if you put it in front of another picture, it won't have a white background. A lot of times, if you do search YouTube YouTube logo, transparent background, people are pretty clueless and they upload pictures that maybe were transparent in the background, but then they had screen captured them and they no longer have a transparent background. It's just tagged as that, so you do want to watch out. But if we go into the image search right here, let's see an example. This one, see when I lift it up, I could already tell it does not have a transparent background. Okay, I could tell you right now. If it would have a transparent background, let's see if I could find one. Nope. When you pick it up, you won't see that white behind it, but whatever. I always also try to pick an image that is of better quality, so maybe it's like a bigger file size. You can go into tools and you can change your search to large. So it's really only going to show you larger files, which sometimes is a little bit better because the images look a little bit nicer. Here's the thing with these transparent backgrounds. It should have this little gray and white checkerboard behind it if it's transparent, but a good indicator is you don't see the gray and white checkerboard here, but when you click on the picture, you do see it. If you saw it while it was here, then it's part of the image and the person who uploaded it was terribly confused. So now you'll see when I go to drag this one, do you see you don't see that white behind it? So this is already transparent in the background, which is great because it makes your life super convenient. So you can just sort of drag it and save it to your desktop or save it to your drive and take it from there. But what if no matter what you search, you try really hard and you cannot find one with a transparent background? Well, what do you do in that case? So what if this is the best logo you can find and you have to make this work, but it doesn't have that transparent background? So what do you do? So I'm going to take this image and I'm just going to drag it to my desktop and I'll show you how to make it a transparent background if that's what you would need it for. Once it's on your desktop, I'm doing this on a Mac, so your computer might be a little bit different, but you probably have something that looks like this. So I'm looking at this in preview right now. Clearly you could see that the white is behind it. Depending on your computer, you're going to click on this one. I clicked the little, I don't know, I call it like a little luggage, little tool, I guess it's a toolbox, not luggage. I click on the little toolbox and then I press the magical wand. Then I go over to whatever it is you want to delete from the picture. It's going to really kind of drag it and go to everything else that's that color and attached to it. If you kind of remember Microsoft Paint when we were kids. So I'm going to, if I do this, see everything that turned this like coral red color is now outlined in little floating dotted lines. I hit delete, it's gone. I'll have to do it in parts for this because not all of the white is attached. So I can go over here and the more you pull, the closer it gets to the edge. So I delete that white piece there, do a little pull with it. So you click down and drag at the same time. You'll figure it out. Delete again, delete again. Now, I don't know if you want to delete the little white button arrow, the play button inside, or if you want to leave it. I guess that's, up to you, preference, whatever one you prefer. So I did that little corner. If you want to zoom in, you could zoom in a bit, delete, and there we go. Okay, so what you need to do now, I usually just hit Command S and save, or you go up to the top and you'll go to File, Save. Make sure it's saved. And you could also drop down over here, see the rectangular selection. Sometimes there's a lot of like dead space around it for no reason. So you could go like this and then hit crop and it would crop all that excess off and it would make your image a little bit smaller. But we don't need to do that in this case. There's a few other, we could talk about that in another video. So I saved it and then I usually just do Command W and that closes the window that I'm working on. Now I'm going to go back to Miss Teacher's page and here I use the button feature, but what else can I do? If you drag the image onto the page, so if I were to drag this now, I don't want to put it up here with this black background, but let's say I did. Okay, so for instance, if I were to drag the YouTube logo up here, you see the difference? I don't have that white box around it. It's just the font and the logo. I'm just going to put the button back. Well, right now it's not a button, it's just an image. So now what I can do is with this, I can resize it, but it's cut off a little bit here. If I click over here, you'll see the little link icon, insert link. And I can go ahead and apply my YouTube channel link to there as well. And it's also a button. So in either case, it's a button. If I go and hit this right over here, it's going to have me preview the site. And you can see the student would hover over this and it's now a link, it's a button to the YouTube page I had opened before. Perfect. It really wouldn't matter in this example if the YouTube button had the white background because I have a white background here anyway, but you'll see that sometimes it's worth it to make the background transparent. So let me show you another example. If I wanted a specific font because I'm crazy, I can really make my own font as an image to put into this page. Let's go and look at that. I opened a Google Doc, so you can go to docs.google.com. Then I'm going to just go to Insert, Drawing, and New. From here, I'm just going to make a drawing. It really doesn't matter where you do this. I don't know, out of habit, I always do it in here. Insert, I'm going to do Word Art. Also, the good thing about doing it in here is that your drawings will be their own little file and it can't interfere if you have like typed math problems or paragraphs on your paper. The image all stays collected even if it's a bunch of different things working together to create the image. I'm going to do word art, which is going to make the font look a lot nicer than just regular font that you would do if you were writing a paragraph, typing in a document. When you do word art, if you hit enter, it saves it. So I want to go on to the next line. What I could do is I hit shift enter or shift return to go to the next line, not command enter, just shift enter. I know we use different things for different features. So Miss Teacher's Math Classes. So there it is. Next, while the box is selected, I can go in and select the font I like. I can make it bold. I can change the outline. I can make it bigger. I can make it wider. I can make it short and chubby. I can fill it with a different color. I can use gradient to fill it. I can customize the gradient and put different colors in here. Okay, so whatever you like. Now, I'm also going to Command D is duplicate. This way, so I know it's stretched to the same ratio and same size, because again, it would bother me. I'm going to separate, I'm going to separate and make a different file for, I'm going to make a different word art for Miss Teachers and one for math classes. And the reason I like to do that is sometimes I don't love the spacing between them and I do like it if they're a little bit closer. Now, if you want them centered, you could just see how if I drag it, it will show you this red line. So you know it's centered on the page or whatever, centered on the, in the drawing. You could do that. Or you can, I'm just going to put one here and put one there. Okay. Or I can select both of them. I can right click. Then I could put center on page horizontally. Now it's centered the two of them together as a package deal on the page. If I click one at a time, center on page horizontally, and center on page horizontally, you can do that. Or I have them both here. Now you could do align horizontally. I want them to align at their centers or at their left, at their right, whatever, at their centers, but it didn't align them on the page. So now that they're aligned together, center on page horizontally. So a few different ways you can do it. They're good. It's good to have all these options because sometimes you'd be surprised on what things will come in handy when you're putting something together. Now I can go over here and I can do that. Now they're a little bit closer together. Maybe I prefer that. If you would rather pull and make it so that they are aligned this way, you can do that as well. Maybe you like that look a little bit better, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, and it's up to you how you do this, I'm just going to put the white background behind it. I know I don't want a white background, but this is, I'm just showing you again what I showed in the last with the YouTube in case you had to change something. Now I have a white box on top of it. I have it selected. I'm going to hit Command Shift and down arrow and it sends it to the back. If I wanted to take a screen grab of this on a Mac, I'm going to hit on my shortcut is Command Shift 4. My little crosshair comes up. I'm going to go right up there in that corner. And I don't want to get too much white around it. I want to keep it nice and neat. And I will screen grab that. Then, just to practice this again, little toolbox and magic wand. I know it's something different. It's not a toolbox on my other Mac because I have a school computer and my own. I don't remember what it is right now, but I promise, even if it doesn't look like the toolbox, it's something over here, like a pen or something for edit it, and you'll find it. Now I have my wand selected, and here, delete all that. Sometimes it'll ask you to convert the file to whatever the letters are, JPNG or something. And you just say yes. It's just the type of file has to change. So I'm cleaning out all of the insides of those letters. Okay. And Command S, Command W. So I saved it and I put it back to just the desktop. Now let's go to Miss Teacher's page and let's get out of the student preview. So let's go over here, backspace that right there, and I could really delete this whole box. What if I'm like, I don't like this box, it's ugly. I'm gonna drag that, drop it here. The nice thing is I can't really mess up and distort the image when it's here. You just have to make sure you could see all of it. If you see, like when you drag it so much, certain things happen, but it always recenters it for you. And let's go to make sure it fits. There we go. I didn't really do that great of a job. You see a little bit of this white if I zoom in, right? Obviously I could go crazy, but what if I don't want this black little map or whatever this is behind here anyway? What can you do? Well, you can change the header type completely. The header type could be either a cover, which is bigger background, large banner, which I think that's what was originally selected, banner, which is a little bit smaller, or just title only. So you don't have that big background behind it. Okay. So we have Miss Teacher's math classes. We have this button right here. What if you just want to make your own buttons and you want them to match your, your style over here? Okay. Go back to, I like to just stay in the same Google Drawing because the color I used for the gradient of my font is saved inside of this word art box. I can go over here to shapes. What if I want to make myself a button that is for emailing? I'm going to go over here to gradient and I can make my button look like my other font. So that's one thing to start, and whatever, you pick whatever colors you want. You could actually add more colors to the gradient. All you do is click add and it will add another stop and you can decide, see, where it goes, and then you go in here and then change the color. Okay. But I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to, oops, but I don't want to do that. Oh, also I have mine radiating from like the center. You could also in gradient custom, you can, instead of radial, you can make it a linear and maybe you tilt it at a 45-degree angle and you look at it like that instead, whatever, it's up to you. Now I might do the same weight border that I have on my font, which was 4. So I'm going to make this 4 as well. What if I want this to be, for them to email me? Okay, well, what you can do, you have a couple options again. I'm just going to copy and paste that just because I don't know why, out of habit. Now, if I put the @ symbol, I don't want it to be in this font. I'll change this in a second, but you can have the @ symbol incorporated. You can make the fill of your @ symbol white. You can make your border much smaller, or you can make the border transparent so it doesn't have a border at all. You can shut off the bold. It might look better, without it. We can also change the font, maybe make it something a little bit more basic. You can't really go wrong with Times New Roman. That one's pretty cute. So I have my @ symbol, and maybe for email we could also put little envelope around it. So what else can we go and search for? So we can either draw our own envelope, or we could try to find an envelope that's already made. Envelope icon, images. All right, we've got a couple cuties over here, good contenders. actually kind of like this guy right over here. But do you see how you already see the gray and white boxes like I mentioned before? So if I click on it and drag, the gray and white boxes actually go along with it, which actually stinks. So if you like that image, usually what happens is if you scroll down, there's going to be other similar images underneath it. So I do kind of like, oh, here we go. This one's pretty cute. This one, when it was little, was just white, got big, it had the gray and white boxes. So there's that. If it were white, you would do what we did before and we would get rid of that background and use it that way. But what if I want this to be white instead of black? So we're going to look at it in two different ways. So one, now that it's transparent, I'll be able to put it over the button. I want it to fit inside, and you see the little red crosshair that comes up, and that makes sure that it is centered. Right now my @ symbol is underneath it, so if I hit Command down arrow, it puts it down one layer, but sometimes you have a lot of layers in here, so if you hit Command Shift and down arrow, it puts it all the way on bottom. And sometimes I do that, but then I go back and I put the button all the way underneath. My little @ symbol is on top, and I can put that on the page, and maybe I like something like this, and that could be my button if that's what I want, right? What if I want my envelope and paper, instead of black, to be white? So it kind of matches my @ symbol. That's completely doable, so let's talk about how. I'm going to do this in a pretty janky way because I'm not going to be using Photoshop or anything. I'm just sort of doing things the way I do them. So it's usually actually I like to keep it pretty big when I'm working with it so that the quality is a little bit crisper. So again, I'm just borrowing this box to do this in. The black can get erased the way I erased the white before, and then it will be transparent in this region over here when I do this little screen grab. I can duplicate the existing button that I have, and this time, instead of creating my own image like a crazy person, I'm going to use another feature. So in this feature, what you can do is you hit Control, Command, Spacebar. You get all of these characters. There's emojis, but there are also a lot of other things. And while they're black, here, because I have white font selected, if I choose this pencil, the pencil will actually come out with a white font. So now I can use this for, I don't know, supplies. Maybe you want to put the word supplies in here because obviously the email speaks for itself, but a pencil might not. You could also then type in a link to a separate page, so you'll end up adding pages in here, and they will each have their own link, and you can link to another page as well. And you can have all matching buttons that way. Now you could even do the YouTube logo in this same style. So this right over here is actually pretty perfect. Maybe you also want the play button, so I'm just gonna look at what's available. I mean, worst case scenario, you really could make your own. We could also, I don't hate this idea. Beautiful. And link it to the YouTube page. And then you could just resize everything as you see fit. If it's cropping your image funny, right? Like when we, whatever, do that and you're like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. If you go right over here and click on this guy, it will uncrop it. So based on whatever width you may want. Oh, and one other thing, if you don't want this to show up, this is just the name of the file up top, Miss Teacher's Classes. If you don't want this to actually be on your page once you publish it, all you have to do is backspace it. It won't say enter site name. So I'm going to make a big text box for now. I'm going to type in Control, Command, Spacebar, and maybe we want to use the little calendar icon. Here, it already is single space or custom spacing. We could go smaller than single. I did 0.5, but I just need to, there we go. So see, it's a little bit closer now. And I can make that bold. So maybe you like something that looks like that right there. And again, you can just screen grab and clean out that white behind it if that's what you want. Command Shift 4. Screen capture. Toolbox, magic wand. Get real close. Get that out. Bye. Adios. Command S, Command W. Go to your page. And boom. Obviously, everything else is resizing according, but you can just use emojis if that's easier for you. So if you're crafty like me and you want to just make your own buttons and have them all stylized a certain way, you could do that. If you want to use emojis and be done with it, you can do something like that. And again, you'll just click and link. For the email, what you'll do is you type in mail to email address at domain dot whatever. So Miss Teacher at school.com. Okay, and then when they click on that, it can open for them right there. Okay, that's the end of this video. So in this video, all we did was we got started with the page. We went to sites.google.com. We made a new page. We got rid of that big black header thing background that was there. We made it all white right now. We added our own font using word art from Google Docs. We did a drawing. We also learned to make backgrounds transparent, and we started making our own buttons, and we customized them a bit. We were clever with that. To get something like that pencil icon, we used the shortcut on a Mac, Control Command Spacebar, to get a bunch of characters. You could totally just use emojis as your buttons as well. That's just the end of this video. We will do more in the next video. I'm just going to break it up into a bunch of different pieces. I hope you found this video today helpful, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I cannot wait to make more videos as I continue making this Google site. I'm having a lot of fun. But if there are any questions that you already know you have, things that you want to know how to make, something you saw on someone else's page and you don't feel like asking them how they did it, let me know in the comment section, and I promise you I will do my absolute best to answer all of your questions in my next video on Google Sites. Have a great day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!